So Matt Lindsay here, owner of Southside Strength and Fitness. We have a couple big announcements coming your way. So number one, we have a new trainer here. We have Helen with Shiloh Aesthetics. She's been with us for a little bit now. We're just getting around and making sure that we got this video put out so that we can shoot this in front of all the audience, introduce the membership base to you, and vice versa. So just want to run through a couple questions with you, just so that people can get to know you, your type of training, background, things like that. Yeah. So background, let's start with that. What's your experience come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up, I was a multi-sport athlete. Cross-country running, cross-country skiing. Grew up here in Alaska, so got to play out in the snow quite a bit. And I actually suffered an L2 fracture in a car accident when I was 18. Yeah. So my background honestly came from being an athlete, not being able to train the same way that I did, having to recover from that injury, and then moving into what athleticism looks like post-injury, especially without the structure of, those after-school sports, those competitive sports that I was used to. So personally, that's kind of what my journey looks like, and then transitioning into competitive bodybuilding.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that's excellent. So, when are you working mostly with bodybuilders? Are you working with, a wide variety of people? I guess, who's your ideal client?
Yeah, so as far as my ideal client, anybody who is really committed to change is going to be my ideal client. I do predominantly work with bodybuilders and individuals who are looking for radical physique change. I do have a background in nutrition as well. I do have nutrition certs on top of all of the wonderful training certs I have as well. So that background is there for that radical physique change.
Okay, so you work nutrition, physique change, stuff like that. So if anyone's looking to be a physique competitor, men or women, I know you work with a lot of men as well, so I just want to make sure everyone knows that as well. So you're not just a bikini competitor.
Exactly.
But awesome, and you said that you come from like a multi-sport background as well?
Yes.
So there's some of that kind of athleticism and foundation there as well?
Exactly. I know, especially with bodybuilding becoming very upfront in popular culture, and very widespread on social media, you see a lot of bodybuilders who, aren't able to touch their heads or scratch their backs or anything like that. I still want to bring that functionality into your training so that you are able to function well out in the real world and not just look good on stage.
There you go.
So.
Well, we're going to put you up on the website, make sure your contact information is there. But, if I was a new client, a new member of the gym, and I wanted to, have a conversation with you, how would I reach out to you? How would I get in touch?
Yeah, absolutely. You can either call or text me on my phone number. That is widely available on the website. You can email me. My email should also be up on the website, as well as there should be a link to my own website, also on the Southside website. So you can contact me through either of those. The website will run through kind of a little bit more about my background, a little bit more about what my expectations are for my clients, as well as what you can expect from me.
Okay, awesome. So, go to the website, they'll have all that. I imagine there's a contact form on there, how to reach out, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And then, looking forward, moving forward, what are your goals, in terms of bodybuilding, personal training, things like that?
Yeah, so personally, my goal is to become an IFBB pro and hit the top level of stage I possibly can. I'm working with my coach right now, Jody Junker, IFBB Pro Olympian. She has hit the Olympia stage on multiple occasions, but we're working with her to, again, hit that pro card and then hopefully hit the Olympia stage and be able to perform with my coach on the Olympia stage.
That is amazing. It's always great seeing a trainer who's actually, still training,
yes.
Still developing, still learning, still working with people. Everyone needs a coach. I love that mentality.
There's always something to learn.
Yeah, always. Exactly. So thank you. Well, what we're going to do next is have you take us through a couple workouts, a couple exercises, if you will.
Yeah,
just show people how you work with clients, give them a little bit more background.
Yeah,
but thanks for joining us today. Really excited to have you on board. And thank you for being a trainer here.
Thank you, Matt. Most frequent questions I get are actually how to build a booty, how to build nice glutes. So I'm going to walk through a couple of movements that I love to use for that specifically, and then also talk about the importance of training each and every part of your glute to get that full round booty, right? So the first movement I want to talk through is our hip thrust, right? Very, very standard movement as far as most glute workouts. A lot of people though we'll perform this exercise with a lot of spinal flexion and extension, which actually takes load off of your glutes. So when we set up for our hip thrust, what I want to do is elevate my toes a little bit. You'll notice that this platform is elevated just a smidge. When you elevate your toes, it'll actually drive the tension further into your glutes rather than putting it into your quads. A lot of people will feel most tension in their quads when they have their feet flat, so just elevating your toes will help solve that problem. So when you sit down, I'm not going to latch our hip thrust quite yet. When you sit down, I want you to think about using your back against this pad as a fulcrum, right? So set up, feet are going to be about shoulder width apart, and I want in your top position for you to feel like a table, right? I want you to be squeezing your glutes to keep your back flat, keep your glutes up, almost again turning yourself into a table. Now for the actual movement part of your hip thrust, again, use your back as a fulcrum. This pad is rounded for a reason. I want you to just focus on dropping your hips, keeping your core tight, not moving your spine at all, and then driving straight up with your glutes, squeezing at the top. No spinal flexion extension, right? That'll take tension off your glutes, and then driving straight back up. So I'm keeping my back flat the entire time, rolling over the back pad, and then driving straight up. When you do add weight, you just want to make sure that it's sitting within your hip crease. Okay, so this next movement that I want to walk you through is our hip abduction. This movement, your knees are going to be moving away from your body. It's very similar to our hip adductor, but this is a hip abductor. When you think of abduction, it's moving away from the midline of your body. Abduction, like you would be abducted by aliens, taken, right? So taken away from the midline. So with this movement, we're gonna hop on into the machine here. Knees are gonna be against the pads, and then sitting back against the pad. What this is gonna do is put my glute medius muscle fibers in line with the motion of this hip abduction. So sitting back, instead of driving straight out with my knees and using that as the point of movement, I'm gonna squeeze my glutes to pull my knees outward, okay? So you're gonna notice that this targets that upper glute medius, right? When we think about building a rounded glute, right, you can't have a rounded glute without a nice upper shelf. This is going to help build that upper shelf. Now, if we decide we want to work on our glute max, instead of sitting back, what we'll do is we'll sit a little bit further forward on the seat and lean forward. This is going to put those glute maximus muscle fibers parallel with the motion of the movement. So again, I'm not driving out with my knees, I'm squeezing with my glutes to get that movement, right? And you might notice that you can move more weight seated like this than you can seated back. Your glute max is a larger muscle than your glute med, meaning that most of the time you're going to be able to move more weight. So the next movement I want to coach through is going to be a glute medius kickback. Okay, so again, talked about your glute max and your glute med. Your glute med is what builds that upper shelf, right, to create a rounded glute. So with the glute med kickback, you want to make sure you're using an ankle strap. We have them here at Southside, or you can get them on Amazon. I have a pair that I carry around in my gym bag with me. With the glute med kickback, it's especially important to make sure that you're not facing the cable. You want to put yourself at about a 30-degree angle, okay? What this is going to do is, instead of kicking straight back, right, targeting your glute max, by turning a little bit, you're going to be able to target that glute med, right, that upper shelf. So I like to step my foot in front of the cable just a little bit, and then I'm keeping this back toe turned out the entire time as I'm kicking. You can hinge forward at your hips a little bit. I want you to brace your core, and then focus on utilizing your upper glute here to contract and pull that leg up rather than kicking straight back. Don't be afraid to go lightweight on this. It is a small muscle group and you want control when you're building muscle. So again, keeping my toe turned out, focusing on that as I am kicking straight back. Awesome. Well, that was it, guys, for our little glute workout today here at Southside. Go ahead and contact me if you're interested in coaching. I would love to get in contact with you, talk about your goals, figure out how I can best help you reach those goals. All of my information is on the Southside website, and I can't wait to hear from you guys.